Hey everyone, it's Megan. For this Top 5 and 10 Wednesday, I'm going to go over my top 5 Audrey Hepburn films of all time. Audrey Hepburn, I would say, is my most favorite actress of all time, so let's get started. Coming in at number 5, we have Two for the Road. Miss Hepburn stars in this with Albert Finney. It came out in 1967, and it goes over the course of, I want to say, 12 years of flashbacks and just goes back and forth, telling the story of their relationship and marriage. And it's British, it's in the 60s. It's such a time capsule of awesomeness in terms of like rom-coms from that time. I don't like him very much, I must say. He is probably my least favorite of all the Audrey Hepburn men that she stars with. Nonetheless, I thought this was clever. I loved that the relationships seem very real. There are real problems in this. It's not just the squabbles, it's also the deeper things. It tackles so many different facets of a relationship that is really interesting, and I quite enjoyed it. Coming in at number 4, we have Sabrina. This came out in 1954 and stars William Holden and Humphrey Bogart opposite Audrey. Basically, she is the daughter of the family chauffeur, their family chauffeur. They're really rich, live on Long Island and just have scads of money, and Audrey Hepburn is in love with William Holden's character David, and Humphrey Bogart's character Linus is way older than her, but he doesn't know she exists. And it's just this sort of love triangle type movie. Another version of this also came out in 1994, starring Julia Ormond as Sabrina, Greg Kinnear as David, and Harrison Ford as Linus Larrabee. This is a beautiful movie because, not only because it's in black and white, but because it's Billy Wilder, and so many of my favorite films are done by Billy Wilder. He's just an amazing director and writer. The way he writes out a scene and does romance is absolutely wonderful, and this is a lovely movie to watch with some popcorn. Coming in at number 3, we have Funny Face, where Audrey stars opposite Fred Astaire. This was directed by Stanley Donen, who also did Singin' in the Rain, so this guy knows his musicals. And so this one takes place for the first part in New York. That's the first little bit. It came out in 1957, by the way. But the bulk of it takes place in Paris, you know, one of the fashion capitals of the world. And this lady here is highly intelligent, and she wounds up becoming the new face for Quality, which would be the equivalent of Vogue in this movie. And Fred Astaire's character falls in love with her, and she with him, and it's just a really cute road to how that all came about. This also becomes a movie about finding yourself and finding the confidence to balance, you know, like vanity and intelligence in a clever way. Coming in at number 2, we have another Stanley Donen film, and it is Charade, where Audrey stars opposite Cary Grant. This is truly one of my most favorite films of all time. It is just so epic. I love it. She is a lady of, well, formerly a lady of leisure, and her husband was really rich, and she comes back from a vacation one day to find her huge Paris apartment completely empty, and everything's been sold at an auction, and she doesn't know where the money is. And this guy is just absolutely mysterious. He has an identity, and then it turns that he's another person. And it's just, by the end of the movie, like, you can hardly believe that that such a story happened. But yeah, there's it's a thriller, basically. Her husband owed a lot of money to the government, and so they think she has it. There's a bunch of people that think she has it and are after her to get it, and they all think it's theirs, and she doesn't know where the money is. And so part of the movie is figuring out where the money is, but the other part is losing these shady characters who are after her for the money. This is just an amazing film. The music is insane. So many of Audrey's films were scored by Harry Mancini, and he's just a master at not only building suspense, but also like setting the scene for love in his music. And anyway, definitely you should watch this. Although really you should be watching any of the films that I'm reviewing in this video, because honestly, they are just beautiful. Coming in at number 1, it should come as absolutely no surprise to anyone. It is Breakfast at Tiffanys, directed by Blake Edwards, with score also by Henry Mancini. Audrey Hepburn stars opposite Georges Papard in this sort of rom-com, but with some more serious themes. This came out in 1961. Holly Golightly is her character's name, and she is a call girl living in New York. But you understand this is 1961. They can't call her a prostitute. They can't make any like direct implications, I mean, and they can't show anything. Well, it's implied what she does. And I must admit, when I was young, I did not quite get it. I really didn't get it until I read the short story written by Truman Capote and was like, oh, wow, that's what she is. I didn't get it. I might be the only person who never actually got that part. But anyway, it's a love story. A lot of Audrey Hepburn's films are love stories, I would say. Almost 98% of them are, but that's what you get when you get Audrey, because she is just magic on the screen. Basically, if you wanted to boil it down, it is about two people who are trapped within themselves and their vices and like familiarity and don't want to get out of it. They want to get out of it, but they are hesitant to take a chance and take a risk to pursue love, which could end up in happiness or could end up in heartbreak. They've just been pursuing what's been familiar and easy to them for such a long time that, yeah, it's just a beautiful story. One of the best movies ever made, I think. So that is it for my top 5 films for this week. Did you enjoy it? Have you seen any of these films? Because like I said in my last video, I love discussing movies and I love discussing Miss Audrey. I've read a couple of biographies about her and I love her. She was such an amazing humanitarian and actress. She's a very vulnerable woman, very sensitive, but she loved leading like a simple life. She worked for UNICEF for a long time. She was a very fascinating lady. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I shall see you soon with another video. Bye, everyone.